Mr. Bilirakis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate it. Question for Ms. Bradley. Previous Supreme Court findings and federal court cases that were mentioned in the testimonies of Professor Tiefer and Mr. Bob provide case studies that support the powers vested to Congress on inquiries without justification needed, nor a product or legislation produced. My question is, why should congressional committees with an oversight role to related to agencies have to disclose the purpose of their inquiry?
Let me quote from a seminal case on this issue. This gives you the legal framework for our thinking. The framers expected that where conflicts in scope of authority arose between the coordinate branches, a spirit of dynamic compromise would promote resolution of the dispute in a manner most likely to result in efficient and effective functioning of our governmental system. The coordinate branches do not exist in an exclusively adversarial relationship to one another when a conflict arises. Rather, each branch should take cognizance of an implicit constitutional mandate to seek optimal accommodation through a realistic evaluation of the needs of the others. So while we will see your needs for information for oversight purposes, we want to talk more frequently and openly with you all so that you understand our needs to protect certain information.
Mr. Tiefer or Mr. Bob, would you like to respond to that?
That kind of language is used when there is a much stronger executive branch claim than the ones here. The kind of claims that were made by President Bush or President Obama when they gave executive privilege claims from the presidency itself. Just because one can say, oh, I think the Privacy Act should be put in the way of the committee, even though it says in the statute it can't be, that's not enough to start this dynamic approach of the planets and the Congresses and the separation of powers and all the rest of this stuff. You save that for a place where you've got a real argument to defend the material from oversight.
Mr. Bob, you have anything to add?
I would say that what Ms. Bradley quoted from is aspirational when as it refers to this committee, but the reality is that the Constitution vests authority such that it's up to this committee to decide what it needs and when it needs it, and it's not up to the agency to be able to determine that, well, there's not enough dialogue going on with the committee, therefore we're not going to produce these documents.
Thank you. The next question is for Ms. Regan. One of the main functions of the Inspector General's Office authorized in the IG Act of 1978 was to provide a means for keeping the head of the establishment and the Congress fully and currently informed about problems and deficiencies related to the administration. In your testimony, ma'am, you suggested that the IG's interpretation of this law only requires the IG to submit semi-annual reports to Congress. Can you confirm that this is the position of the IG specifically in relation to the IG Act and what is required by law to Congress? Yes or no? Can you confirm that?
The IG Act only requires, the only specific requirement is a semi-annual report.
Thank you.
But that's not what we always do.
Thank you.
As noted in my testimony.
Thank you. Mr. Bob, in regards to the interpretation of the IG Act, do you agree that the intent of this Act and requirement of the OIG is limited to semi-annual reports when keeping Congress fully and currently informed?
I do not. I don't believe that semi-annual reports alone in most circumstances constitute keeping Congress currently and fully informed.
Mr. Tiefer?
Same.
The IG Act has been enacted for the last 37 years. The question is for Ms. Regan and Ms. Bradley. The IG Act has been enacted for the last 37 years. Why is it now that the VA and the OIG are contesting the investigative powers and authority of Congress in this Act? During a time when the VA must continue to rebuild the trust of the veterans they serve, and of course Congress and the American public, how would providing less information to Congress and the public help in this endeavor? So we'll start first with Ms. Regan, please.
First of all of our reports, as I said in my testimony, my written testimony, all of our reports are reviewed prior to being issued, and those reports, if they can be a public report without redactions under the Privacy Act, are actually put up in unredacted form on our website within 3 days after being issued. Those reports that have to be redacted, we have to wait for a FOIA request, a Freedom of Information Act request, but they're all ready to go. So once we get them, they're put up there. So we do keep the public informed because all of those reports are put up on our website without delay. That's one thing we've conscientiously done. So we know what reports are going to go up. We even try to write our reports in such a way to take out names, identifiers, medical records, and everything else so that we can put it up on the website unredacted. We do that a lot with the healthcare inspections. Otherwise, they would almost all be confidential and we wouldn't be able to release them. So we make a concerted effort, and that's one of the ways we keep Congress informed. In fact, before a report goes up on the website that we expect will have some interest or Congress is interested in, even an individual member, we make the effort to come up and brief them. I think we've had 400 briefings up here, and that's just the formal ones. There's the informal ones where a staff member or somebody, a member of the Congress calls us and just wants us to answer some questions about something, and we do that too. We have never withheld information on the reports that we've done.
Thank you. I'd like to give Ms. Bradley an opportunity to respond.
Thank you. Transparency is so important to establishing or reaffirming a trust with the American people and with our veterans. And to that end, Secretary McDonald has made a lot more information available to the public, including information that is posted on a website about access. I understand that we have to do a better job responding to the oversight requests that you send us. I will note that the committee started a list, I believe, in January of 2013 that you monitor so that there is more transparency about how we're responding to your requests. Of the list of items that you've requested from VA, my understanding is that currently we have provided you with 94% of all of your requests. That doesn't mean there isn't a lot of work to do, but that's why I'm here tonight, to talk about the new team and the new process. We can do better, and that is our goal, openness and transparency with this committee and with the American people.
All right. Thank you. My time has expired. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much.